again. Thanks. Cool. We're recording. Got it. But anyway, thanks for joining us today. What I've done today is kind of, as Kevin said, we just want to get y'all a little more comfortable with talking about it to homeowners, and also just more familiar with exactly what products from Watercress that you're offering. So what I've done is I've taken my presentation that I normally give to sales teams and really condensed it, deleted a ton of slides, and I'm going to fly through it. Y'all feel free to stop me at any time if y'all have any questions or just want to bring up a topic of discussion, but I shortened it so that this could be majority discussion if we need it. I see Kevin put an hour on the clock. We'll use it if we need it. Y'all can have an hour from me. Y'all can have an hour from Kevin. If we need a little more, I'm here. I don't know about you, Kevin, but anyway.
Yep.
I'm going to share a screen and get this started. I promise this will be very short.
And normally, while he pulls that up, just as an FYI to the group, normally our trainings will go over our portal and we'll do a lot of that stuff that can go anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour. Again, so that was kind of the intent behind the hour, but actually we can go as long or as short as you want, just as an FYI. So if people have things to do, just know that by all means you can do that. And again, very informal here, so fire questions away as Chad goes through this.
Well, really quick before we jump in, for anyone that's a little wondering why it's being shortened, we just have a few people that are actually signed in and have portal logins. I think we're going to try to get it to corporate assistance so that, when you're ready to have somebody sign up for financing, you just give that information to your corporate assistant and then they will go through that process for you. So you don't have to be bogged down with having another login, another portal to deal with all that. We're just going to keep it pretty condensed with who we're having portal access to. So that's kind of why.
Okay. Thank you, Ashley. I actually didn't even know we were doing a portal training today. Sorry about that. But we'll like I said, we'll keep it short.
We're not, Chad.
Oh, okay. I heard you wrong.
Yep.
Well, let's dive in then. Can everyone see my screen?
Yep.
Cool. Well, we are Watercress Financial. This slide, really the only thing that's important for you guys is the complex lending landscape. Basically anything that y'all are going to run into, we'll be able to help you with and we'll be able to extend financing for. I'm sure y'all get into some siding, maybe some windows every now and then, but your forte is roofing. We do it every day. So don't be afraid to run stuff through to us that's not just roofing. A lot of our dealers just kind of assume that because whenever we're initially talking to them, we're talking to them about roofing. But apologize, but just keep in mind that we do have other trades that we support. This is just a quick thing about Watercress Financial. We do fund very fast. So whenever you have a finance deal through Watercress, usually once you've requested funding, Ashley can probably comment on this a little bit, but she knows that we do fund pretty fast, usually within 2 days. We do have a dedicated account manager. That's Kevin over there. If you're ever talking to a Spanish homeowner, Spanish speaker, we do have Spanish speakers in office and also full Spanish documents. Zero contractor fee programs is somewhat rare in our line of work. Usually it costs money that's asked for from the contractor as part of the deal to run financing for them. We have several programs that don't require that, and that's actually all y'all use, and we'll get to that in a moment. And no completion certificate. A completion certificate from an indirect lender like Watercress would be you finished your work and you're ready to be funded, and then the financial organization would reach out to your customer saying, is the work complete? And the customer would then have to reply through text message, through email, through phone call. They would have to reply and say, yes, it is, before you get funded. We do that for your first 5 dealers, and y'all are already through that. And then for the most part, we just kind of let y'all run with it so you're in full control of the funding. It's kind of neat. This is just a fun slide. I guess by the end of this short presentation, if you're not doing it already, I would just hope that you think a little bit more about how you're incorporating financing into your overall strategy. Financing is a tool to close more business, and on top of that, it just offers your homeowners more options and more helpful options for them. But these are surveys and studies, two of them that I pulled, two of my favorites from reputable organizations that just really show that financing is important. Increasing average ticket size. I'm not going to read the whole thing to you, but I believe that one was conducted by PayPal, actually. That was conducted by PayPal, and the one below it about closing percentages was conducted by Mintel, big organization. Then back to the guaranteed payment down here. You'll have some customers that pay great. You'll have some that don't. If they're financing the work through us, no one's going to pay better than us. So it's pretty awesome. This is the rate card, and this is really small, and I'm sure some of y'all might be on your cell phones here. So I'll kind of read this a little bit, but these are the two programs that have 0 fees. So there's nothing to plan for. Don't need to fluff your quotes, and you don't need to take anything to margin. This is what y'all are using. Everything else is blocked out. There are some interesting things in there, but to be honest, in the roofing trade, this top one is, and this is what y'all are using primarily, if not 100%. But this is our forte. This is our go-to. This is our highest utilized program. It's a standard installment. Your homeowner won't have a payment for 2 months. The interest rate varies from 10.95 to 17.95, and that's all based on their credit score. The term, as soon as you go past $6,000, we can take that term out to 15 years, which, as you can imagine, creates a very attractive payment should they choose to go out that far. Below it here, we have a program that's very similar to it with one small difference, but it's an important difference. So the APR, the interest rate range on the low end goes up 1%. So it starts at 11.95, but it still stops at 17.95 based on credit. But the first 2 months have no interest and no payments. So the first one had no payment. The first one has no interest and no payment. That one, I would imagine if y'all ever get into situations, well, I know firsthand that insurance is getting tough for you roofers. They're getting harder and harder to work with, and sometimes it takes time. This is a good option if your homeowner wants to get their roof started immediately, or y'all want to get it started immediately. And you can tell them that if they run this financing program, they have no interest implications and no payment for 2 months while y'all get the insurance squared away. And then once that's done, y'all have completed the work, y'all are paid, and then insurance mails the checks out, and they can do whatever they want with the checks. But that way you don't have checks to chase, you don't have a deductible to chase, and that conversation is kind of over. So I would recommend using that one for insurance jobs and start thinking about that, getting that work moving quicker, and as well as making a smoother, seamless experience for you and your homeowner. So I would imagine we probably have some questions on this slide. So I'm going to stop for a moment.
I do. Hi, I'm Devin. I just
Hi.
wanted to know if you can share this deck with us so we could have it.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Also, what are the minimums? You said that the maximum is up to 75. What's the minimum financed amount?
So maximum 75, is that what you said? Sorry, I need to turn my volume up a little bit. You said you were wondering about the minimum. The minimum's $1,000.
Okay.
Yes. So $1,000 and more will finance, and we'll even, not that y'all run into it too much, but if you do anything that's over 75, we'll consider that as well. 75. So we give instant approvals. Whenever you're running that application, we'll have an answer back within 10 to 15 seconds usually, which is really cool. But for anything beyond 75, it just goes to review and it won't be an instant approval. And on paper, we say we'll go up to 100K, but I've seen otherwise. It's just kind of due to, it's just kind of reliant on credit worthiness of the individual.
Yeah.
But that's
So
what
Are
we're
as,
these
showing
all
on paper.
soft? Are these all soft credit checks?
Yes, sir.
and then in regards to project sizes, kind of just for Ashley and management type members on the call, anything that like Chad was mentioning, the system itself will auto approve anything from 0 to 75,000. Anything north of 75,000, you can just shoot myself an email or Chad for that matter, and we just reach out to our management team just to get sign off on that. But we can definitely go larger than the 75K just to piggyback off what Chad said.
Mhm.
And then if you get let's say they don't get approved right away, sometimes it's something stupid like they're late on one payment right now, and that's the denial. Is there any type of way that we could talk to an underwriter and be like, hey, how do we fix this? How do we get this person approved to try to rework some of these if they do get denied right away? Because I know automated systems typically run off of very strict criteria, which is great, but sometimes we can meet that criteria with a phone call.
Yeah, and part of our system, so you'll see within 15 minutes right away as to why it might be pending or in review. Again, maybe the credit file is frozen, maybe the income was fat fingered, things along those lines. You'll see notes from our underwriting team that kind of gives you more information or clarity behind that. But yeah, I'll have contact information that I can send out as well. If something like that does come, that there's a hang up with something, just for us to kind of to follow up as quickly as possible to see if we can keep that moving as quickly as possible.
Okay.
Yep. What do y'all think about the interest rates? 10.95 starting to 17.95. I like to bring this up because typical auto loans right now are around 7%, assuming no outside money has come in to help buy that rate down. So obviously ours are a little bit higher. And to the untrained eye, ours do seem higher. Just for some of your conversations with homeowners, sometimes if they just understand, it makes more sense. But these are unsecured loans, meaning us as the lender, whenever y'all sell a roof and then we fund you for it, and then we have a payment schedule lined out for your homeowner, we don't hold the title like they do for an auto loan. They'll hold the title until that car is fully paid off. We obviously can't do that with the roof, so our loans are higher risk. Unfortunately, we have to be a small step above auto loans on the interest rate, and that's just kind of the facts behind it and why they are where they are. In the indirect lending world and unsecured loans, these interest rates are not bad. They're exactly where they need to be, and if in fact they're probably on the stronger side, especially for a program that costs you, the dealer, nothing. So that's a little background on that.
So, question for you, is there any like UCC liens? Are you guys doing that UCC filing on it at all, or it's
We do
just
not have.
straight up lending them money as if it was like on their word and their credit worthiness?
Yes,
Okay.
essentially. We will send them to collections, obviously, but we are not leaning the property, and we have no secured property. We can't go repo a roof. Good question, though.
And then do you guys have a for the people who really focus, I mean, I've been using credit for a long time in retail sales. And so I've worked with some other lenders, and I know that I've had the conversation about APR quite a bit. And I can very easily tell them, like, hey man, like, I don't know why you're worried about APR over 15 years, because you're like most homeowners. You're not gonna use this for 15 years. You're gonna use it for 2. So it's
Mhm.
whatever. But for the people who really are like, I can only afford a minimum payment, this is important, this is that, what are the options for buy down? Do you guys have a rate sheet that has buy down options, or even better would be like a 0% or like a no payment, no interest, 24 months? Like, what are your specialty financing options?
We do have all of that, but River City as a company has chosen not to use them at the moment. That's why I've got them blocked out here. But we do have some small buy downs available, and I'll be happy to send the full rate sheet out to, I guess, Ashley and Stacy, and maybe y'all can reconsider. But I will say that when you're offering these to your homeowners, options are good, but too many options is bad. So you don't want to be offering 3 different financing programs, in my opinion, in most cases. But as a company, y'all are welcome to reconsider that at any time. But at the moment, these are the only ones y'all are choosing to use.
Yeah, would you mind sending that to Ashley and Stacy, and I'll chat with them about it?
Sure.
It's something that I've used in the past, and I've closed a lot of deals for people who are like, yeah, I'll just do the 24 months. It's whatever.
Mhm.
And then let's see. And then question about funding. We do larger scale projects that are multi-trade, right? So let's say we're doing a project that's siding, roofing, gutters. Is there any like is there any way to get some type of plan put together for staged payments so that we can pay our crews as they go through these different trades? So when we complete the roof, the roof's done. we get the completion, we stage pay the roof out, and then when the siding's done, you know, usually a month later, 6 weeks later or something from a material or whenever it happens, then we get that paid off. And then when the gutters are done, we finalize the last, you know, couple $1,000s for the gutters. Is that an option?
So the short answer to that is no. The long answer to that is maybe. In our world over here, funding partners, more background information, are getting less willing to allow that because loans get even riskier at that point. So you've seen many of my competitors already back out of doing stage funding. We're one of the few that still offers it, but it's a scrutinous process to start offering it. We have to look over company financials and stuff like that before we can switch that on for your account. So short answer is no. Our funding partners don't feel great about it, and I'm hoping it sticks around forever. But the long answer is we do have some contractors, very few, using it.
I don't think it would be for anything less than 75,000. It would be the rare occurrence where we have like, hey, we need 150,000 on this one particular project. But it's just a question.
Yes, if it's very important to what you're doing, I would look into it. So
my understanding, if we're doing small to medium sized project, let's say 30 to 60K, we should really only push them towards Watercress per trade, right? Let's say what would kind of make the most sense
per trade. Are you saying do kind of one job at a time?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we have so I have one a couple days ago. I'm just kind of getting used to how you guys are doing things. I came back to Portland recently, and I was with a coworker, and they have a pool liner they need to get done. They have their hardwood floors they're thinking about already getting a loan for. I said, well, don't quote me on this. It might be possible for you to tie that all in together. Now, of course, it doesn't seem like it's a reasonable thing right now because it's going to be a different contractor, so it's definitely not reasonable. But let's say they need one loan for roofing, siding, and gutters. It still might not be a good idea for us to. I mean, I guess I'll talk about that with them, I guess. But it sounds like you guys wouldn't pay per trade. You pay when all the trades are done per loan, right?
Yes. So you would kind of have to, and they're welcome to take more than one loan, assuming they can get approved. So you can kind of break it down into different projects. So yeah, it would be kind of up to you to think out what makes most sense. What makes the most sense as far as moving money. So if you've got to knock out the roof and gutters and siding all in one chunk, that can all be done relatively quick. Whereas, windows or something may take longer. The pool may take longer. You could go ahead and take out a loan for that part and then move on to the rest and figure out when the money makes sense and when you would need to be paid to pay your subs and everything. So you just kind of have to run it like that. Or we can look into the stage funding, but like I said, it's a little scrutinous. Y'all have anything else?
No, and I'll just mention here, from a credit score standpoint, one thing to keep in mind, 660 is our low credit score. So just something to keep in mind, in the back of your mind.
That's very important too. Whenever you're having these conversations in the home as a salesperson, I wouldn't want to even go through this process if I knew they were below that. And I think it's a fair question to ask them, or not even ask them. You don't need to get nosy and get into their credit, but maybe just let them know if they're considering it that 660 is the minimum. So that way they won't even continue because you don't need that bummer in your sales process of them just applying when they've got a 550. So just kind of let them know so that you don't waste time on it. All right, I'm going to go ahead and move on. I've only got one more slide. This is some really basic stuff. These are the 5 main questions that homeowners are going to ask about our loans. And y'all have already asked some of them because y'all are anticipating these things, but especially because we are on the credit-based, the risk-based interest rates, it makes these questions very easy. And the majority to a lot of them are, I don't know. And that's actually a good thing at this point, because the best chance that y'all are going to have of closing business, getting work, is whenever you have the River City Roofing, every day, great price on one hand and an approval from Watercress on the other. Your customer has options and it's going to be a very low payment option, and they've got the option to pay cash, business as usual for you guys. So whenever you don't know these things and we have a soft pull, an initial soft pull to get to that application where you want to be, that's you not knowing these things makes it easy for you to get there, I guess I would say. So what is my interest rate? We don't know that. You have to apply to find out. You do know the range, but I wouldn't even get into those conversations if I were you. If you want to, feel free. We're not hiding anything. We're keeping the conversation as focused on what y'all are doing as we can. We don't want this to be a finance focused conversation for you guys. We want it to be focused on roofs or whatever else you're selling. Term of the loan, it's going to default to the maximum, I believe, based on the amount. So anything over $6,000 is going to default to 15 years, and it's going to show that absolute lowest payment, the easiest thing for you guys to move. And the homeowner will have the option to move it down if they want, but these loans also have absolutely zero penalties to prepay. So there's not really a reason to do that. They have the most control over their cash flow when it's out to 15 years or the maximum term based on the amount that they're borrowing. So the term of the loan, it's going to default to the maximum, and they're willing to, and they're perfectly able to change it down the road after they've received an approval. Easy answer to that question. What is the monthly payment? Again, we don't know this because we don't know what their interest rate is until they apply and do that soft pull, that application. So we don't know until you apply. Will it affect my credit score? We've talked about this. It's a soft pull initially. If they, at the point where they say, yes, I'm good with that, love that monthly payment, let's do it. I want a new roof, let's do it. And then they proceed to receive their loan documents for an e-sign to get us all set up and ready to go. That's the point where it hard pulls. So it soft pulls just to see if they'll qualify. And then it's a hard pull to actually get their loan documents and move forward. Prepayment penalties, I just went over that. There aren't any. Nothing hidden here. Those are the 5 main questions you'll get asked. Can y'all think of anything else that you want me or Kevin to answer that you might get asked in a home?
Will they see this? So when we send their application, and they're filling it out, do once they get approved or not, they're going to get all that information, and then they have all these options laid out in their response from you guys that you send them directly? Is that right? Okay.
So they'll fill out their application, and I wish I had a little snapshot of it right now, but it shows them hey, you're approved. That's what we want. Hopefully you're approved. Here's your interest rate. Here's your payment. Here's your term. And then you can modify the term in that button. There's a link to do it. Is that correct, Kevin?
Yep. And to touch on that, so 4 outcomes are going to happen once they apply. They're going to get an approval or decline right away, 90% of the time. That approval, like he just said, it's going to say, congratulations, you've been approved for this app. It's going to let them know what the loan amount's for, what's the APR on the loan, what's their monthly payment. It's also going to let you know as a sales rep what they've qualified up to. So the last box in this feature type deal will let you know that, hey, they've qualified for a $75,000 loan, even though their current project is for $20,000. So it'll let you know that there's $55,000 of wiggle room there in that example that will help upsell, or if they have any other projects they want to do, you'll know what they're qualified up to with that response or with that decision.
One thing that I'll throw out just for y'all's conversations, we did have a short discussion about interest rates and why they are where they are. It might be a shock to some that don't know much about unsecured loans. It might be an initial shock. What I would say to that is highlight the fact that there's no prepayment penalties whatsoever. And, a little bit of honesty goes a long way, or a little bit of, transparency. So if you're in an interest rate conversation, obviously you don't know until they apply what it's going to be. You can say it's an unsecured loan. They're a little high. Rates aren't great right now anyway, but I'm going to get you a payment that you'll love, and there's no penalty to prepay it. That's how I would word it and how I would talk about it in the field. Then just a little more motivation back to this slide here, just financing motivation. So everyone's going to come up with their own strategy, right? Everyone's got a different way of doing things. At bare minimum, I would just encourage y'all to just think about how you want to start incorporating it. And at the bare minimum, it's just kind of letting your homeowners, your customers know that you have a third-party financing partner. That would be the bare minimum. You know, we actually have one of the biggest, if not the biggest, re-roofing company in the country that works with us, and they use that same program that y'all are primarily using, 0% fee, and they sell like they're selling cars. You know, that they're highlighting payments. And why do they do that? Because they spend a whole lot on marketing, and they've got to close their deals. You know, I don't know. I'm not recommending that y'all do that, but the fact that they're doing that tells us that it increases closure rates, and they've got a huge marketing expense, so they have to close these deals. So that's why I would encourage y'all to just think about how you want to use this and start incorporating it somehow into your process. Ashley, I sent you that sheet a while back that just kind of had estimates, payment estimates. It's a good way to bring it up. Just be like, by the way, we have a third-party finance partner. These are just some payment estimates. You know, it had anywhere from like 5,000. I don't remember the numbers, 5,000 to 25,000. And, you know, we can always make more, but it just showed the amount and what an average estimated payment would look like, just so they have an idea of how low our payments are. It's very attractive. So it's a good way to just say,
we did put that in our sales presentation and engage you guys. So that list
Great.
of the numbers, you know, if you're taking out this much, this is the range of around where your payment would be. So that's already in our sales presentation. You can use that.
great.
The number that Tim got us using is a $130 payment per 10,000 borrows. It's basically like the hard number that we're trying to use in the gap for the homeowners. What they're taking place.
I've got some muffled feedback over here. Is anyone else Kevin, did you catch that?
Yeah, Nick, can't hear a word you said, buddy.
And there's a chat. There should be a chat option as well in here, Nick. If you see that chat option, if you want to put it in there for us to help answer. And you can also email myself or Chad as well.
Actually, I think I know what he was saying, because what we had kind of worked out, I might be wrong about this, but I feel like we did it at 13%. We worked out the payments would come out to about $130 a month for every $10,000 loan, every $10,000 of loan. So I think, yeah, it's about 260, 270 for 20,000 and 400 for 30,000. I think that's what he was getting at. So I heard those numbers come muffled out.
It was just about kind of where our payments land.
Yeah.
Okay. They look great. They're very easy to move. That's all I have. Y'all keep firing away questions.
I guess I have one more question. What would be the pros and cons of using this over a HELOC? So I'm just now learning about finance, and I know that that's been brought up, you know, because I've been an insurance guy forever, and I'm moving back to a retail market, and I know some of my homeowners use that. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. It's a great thing to bring up. HELOCs take usually 3 to 5 weeks to get a hold of and to close on. Ours take 2 days max. You can actually get it squared away right there on the spot if you're selling at a kitchen table. So as long as it's an instant approval, you can get it immediately. Second thing is the fact that a HELOC requires them to put something on the line, and ours does not. It's unsecured, back to that unsecured loan conversation. So less for your customer to put on the line. It's easier to get a hold of. And what do you know about HELOC rates right now?
Don't.
You don't?
I mean, I know all the interest rates are through the roof right now, right?
They're all pretty bad. So I actually looked into one for myself about 6 months ago, and they were exactly the same as ours. So
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm willing to bet that if you did some good shopping at some small credit unions, that you might be able to find a little better, but they're pretty scrutinous with those. So it's going to be tough to get. Takes longer to close on, and it's a secured loan. So
Mhm.
Yeah.
Got it.
attached to their house. So unless if it was me doing the work and I needed a loan, I would 110% go with one of these unsecured loans. It's just safer for the homeowner. It's easier to get. And as long as the interest rate was relatively close, that's what I would go with.
And is
just
this the
makes
type of
more sense.
situation where their interest rate shoots through the roof if they miss payments? Or is it locked?
No, the interest rate doesn't change once they sign those
Okay.
documents.
Great.
Good question. Okay. Well, if y'all don't have anything else, I'm done. Kevin, do you have anything? If
I
not,
don't.
we might
Ashley-
just drop our contact information in chat. And if y'all think of something later, feel free to reach out.
Yep. Ashley, thoughts on your end or anything that you can think of?
I think this is great, and I'm happy to send this out to anyone who wasn't able to make it. They can catch the recording, and we'll probably just like save it in the drive or down the road because this was a pretty good overview. So thank you for the time and putting this together for us.
Certainly.
Absolutely. Yeah. If any questions come up with Ashley or anybody on the group, don't hesitate to reach out. Like I said, we'll get our contact information out to you, and whatever we can do to help, we're here for you. Chad, thanks for jumping on. Thanks for going through that. And we'll move forward. And Ashley, just keep me posted if you ever need anything.
Thank
Awesome.
you.
Thank you, guys.
Awesome. Thanks,
Take
everybody.
care, everyone. Thanks for coming.
Thanks, Buzz.
Bye-bye.